It's the G Spot with Ken and G. But guess what? No G tonight. But I got my special guest, the Mr. Filthy Mouth fucking Gamer.
The guy that really knows how to hit the fucking G.
The G Spot. Only on Patreon. What's up, guys? We're coming to you, not live, pre-recorded bullshit here on the Patreon. Want to give a shout out to all the new Patreons coming in here and hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Yeah, so a lot of shit going on today. We just bullshitting tonight. We were talking about wrestling, me and the Filthy Mouth Gamer, and we were talking about one moment in particular during the greatest age of wrestling. Well, the second greatest to me, but the greatest to a lot of people. The Golden Age with The Rock and Stone Cold, the Attitude Era. And we were talking about this one moment where The Rock was fucking around with D-Generation X, right? Yeah. D-Generation X and Billy Gunn and all that shit. And he was in the brawl with them back in like 98 or whatever. But there was one particular moment when Billy Gunn had won the King of the Ring. And the next night, on a Monday night, The Rock came out and cut a promo about Billy Gunn, and it was one of the most funniest fucking moments ever, because me and this guy over here, Filthy Mouth Gamer, have been talking about this moment for a really long fucking time, and we always bring it up every once in a while. When you hear somebody say, "Oh dear God," it makes us think of it right away. And we're referring to The Rock the next night on Monday Night Raw after the King of the Ring. I think it was 1998 King of the Ring, and
they don't do those anymore, do they?
No, they don't, man. Which sucks. I wish they kind of brought it back a little bit. They kind of brought it back on Monday Night Raw. They were doing a segment where it was like the King of the Ring, and it kind of was downplayed bullshit. And so technically, the last King of the Ring was Barrett, the guy Barrett who was wrestling in the WWE for a while. And it sucked. They really fucked it up. They completely just botched the whole thing up. But I want to play you guys a little bit of that part from Monday Night Raw 1998, the night after the pay-per-view King of the Ring, which Billy Gunn, you guys all know from, one of the best tag teams ever. What was their name again, that tag team?
The New Age Outlaws.
Yeah. New Age Outlaws, hooked up with hooked up with Triple H and the great one and only Shawn Michaels, which formed one of the greatest cliques of all time in the WWE or in any wrestling, for that matter, D-Generation X. So here it is, Monday Night Raw, the next night. Here's The Rock coming out, and we're going to play this for you real quick.
The Rock has come back to Indianapolis.
You hear that crowd? You don't hear crowds like that anymore on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's gotten bad, huh?
Yeah.
Let The Rock understand this for a second. Last week on Raw, he beat your ass in a cage match. And now this week, you're the #1 contender for the WWF title? Well, The Rock realizes why that is, because you got a 3-foot nose, you turn it sideways, and stick it straight up Vince's ass!
Only one guy can cut promos like that, man.
Triple H, The Rock says, at this pay-per-view fully loaded, #1 contender or no #1 contender, The Rock is going to do to you exactly what he does best, and that's lay the smack down on your candy ass. Now, on to badass Billy Gunn.
Now, folks, before we let this go, this is the spot now that we've been talking about for years right now. Just what he says about Billy Gunn right here in the opening has been one of the most memorable things for us, because we always spoke about it for years and years. But listen, here we go.
The Rock understands what took place. The night you won King of the Ring, you got down on your knees, put your little hands together, and you said a prayer, and it sounded like this. Oh, dear God.
Oh, dear God.
You see, my name's Billy. and I just won King of the Ring, but there's one problem. Everybody still thinks that I absolutely suck.
Oh, shit. Oh, dear God.
And that,
Oh,
you see, my name's
oh, dear God. Dude, I mean,
the night you won King of the Ring, you got down on your knees, put your little hands together, and you said a prayer, and it sounded like this. Oh, dear God. You see, my name got down on your knees, put your little hands together, and you said a prayer, and it sounded like this. Oh, dear God. And you said a prayer, and it sounded like this. Oh, dear God. You see, my name's Billy, and I just won King of the Ring, but there's one problem. Everybody still thinks that I absolutely suck.
oh my God, man. Oh, dear God.
And then at that point, Billy, your house started to shake, the heavens opened up,
Sorry about that.
God himself spoke to you and said this. Bob, but my name's Billy. It doesn't matter what your name is.
But my name's Billy.
You are absolutely right. You do suck. But there is one thing and one thing only you can do. You must go find the man who is simply electrifying. You must go find The Rock. Oh my God! Anybody but The Rock. Know your role and shut your mouth.
Oh my God, dude. The Rock was just, dude. The Rock was just. I'm sorry. I'm
And
sorry.
Billy, as fear went through your body, tears went down your cheek, and piss rolled down your leg, your house started to shake again, the clouds parted, the heavens opened, and what seemed like millions of voices all said to you in unison, Jabroni, if you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Well, I guess, Kevin Kelly, there could be an 11th commandment. Do not upset The Rock.
Ah, man, that's when wrestling was fucking so good, man. I mean, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame where it came to, because Monday nights, especially after a pay-per-view, was like viewed like, you know, it was big. It was fucking big. You know?
Do you remember that time I think I was at SmackDown. I think it was SmackDown. And I got on television.
Yeah, I remember that. And if you look tonight, everybody, if you hear this before Raw goes off, I'm going to post this around 8 o'clock to the Patreon. If you hear this before 9 o'clock, turn on Raw and see if you could see a Foul Mouths Network logo somewhere in Raw. Because I was told tonight our logo will be shown on Raw. Somebody's going to try to get our logo on Raw. They're sitting front row. They said that they would show our logo on Raw tonight for us. So keep an eye out for that. If anybody sees it, please let us know. And either tweet us or say something in the comments, or because supposedly we're going to be able to see that tonight, which would be pretty fucking cool. But yeah, I remember like the next day after a pay-per-view, you could not wait to see Monday Night Raw. Nobody could wait to see Monday Night Raw. You just knew something fucking crazy, some kind of shit would happen, you know? Just fucking loved it. It was great back then. It really sucks now, man. It just really is just a different ball game now. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I think it also has to do with the sound of Raw. Because that old sound with JR and all the other guys that used to be broadcasting back then, and some of the guys that they were using as the color commentators and all that shit, just aren't the same anymore. You know, you got Booker T. Every time you come back from a fucking commercial, you hear, man, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, man. It's getting sick.
He's the fucking commentator now.
Well, he's like, he's like the color guy who, not the color guy, but like, he's the colored guy. He's the colored commentator. He's the color guy who sits there and, tries to
He's the colored commentator.
He's the colored guy who sits there and tries to fill in the slots. I'm filling in slots here, baby. I'm filling it. Yo, listen, man. Let me tell you something, man. Anyway, guys, listen to this. Jeter jumps into the box here. He's looking at a 3-2 pitch coming up. He hasn't faced Randy Johnson in a while. Jeter's batting .375. And the game's tied right now in the 4th inning. As here's the first pitch. Jeter takes one outside. Ray, how do you feel tonight, Ray, watching this game?
Well, here's an interesting fact about Jeter. Speaking of stepping into the box, he stepped into a box last night with his Johnson. And in coincidence,
Christ,
he's
you
going
can't
against
say
Johnson.
that on TV, for Christ's sake, Ray.
I didn't curse. So what do you mean?
It's all suspended, for Christ's sake, Ray. Jeter looks at about a cock right now. Jeter sucking a cock at home plate right now. The Yankees are loving it.
Whoa. When you get to say cock, I can't say Johnson?
Jeter's stepping into a cock right now here at home plate. Guys, take a look at this fingerling. If you take a look up there, you see that finger? That's the G spot, guys. I just want to show you guys this. See where the Foul Mounts logo is right now? Right here? Well, that's the G spot. That's where you put your finger. You put your finger right in that spot, and that's supposed to be where the girl is like really just gets excited,
Excuse me. What does this have to do with the game?
We're just trying to keep the fans, educated on things.
Well, let's get back to the game. I mean, Jeter's hitting .320. He's got 80 RBIs, and he's got 5 kids out of wedlock this year.
Which really doesn't change much because that's how the whole fucking baseball is now. And Jeter's looking at a 3-0 count. Here she. Wait, let me try this real quick. Hold on.
What the fuck?
Here we are, folks, at Yankee Stadium on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. As we start this game out, folks, we want to thank you for coming to Yankee Stadium today, folks, where it's the New York Yankees versus the New Jersey Devils here in this baseball game. And what are you laughing at, Tim? The fuck you laughing at, Tim?
I think the New Jersey Devils play hockey, Bob.
Oh, fuck, you're right. I'm sorry about that, folks. The Devil Rays, I'm sorry. It's the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Sorry about that, folks. Here's Jeter as he sets into the plate. As he takes his first pitch here. Here's Jeter. Lines up here at the batter's box. I'm trying to get the sound to sync with it, and it fucking won't. But here's Jeter as he steps into the box right here. And here's the first pitch by by Randy Johnson. As we hear, take me out to the ball game, and it's a 7th inning stretch. Sorry. And here's the pitch. It's a home run! Hey, wait, here, listen to this. That's the sound when they hit home runs in Yankee Stadium.
That's the new one?
Yeah.
It sounds like the fucking Nazis are air raiding. Are they really playing Whoop? There it is.
Here's the Boston Red Sox 2017 when they hit a home run. Everybody shake your ass. Michali bread, me Jewish. Hey. The Boston Red Sox thing is just too. Listen to this.
It sounds like people. It reminds me of people being in a K-hole in a corner.
Are we
of a
serious
club.
right now with this? Who the fuck would play this stupid shit out of game when somebody hits a home run?
Remember when the Mets used to do in early 2000s? Who let the dogs out?
I used to get so sick of it. Here's the Kansas City Royals bullshit sound when they hit a home run. Little John. What? Oh my God!
Wait.
Listen to who it is. It's Usher, Mr. Herpes himself. Here's the Chicago Cubs 2017 World Series championship. Give me a fucking break.
Why would they play like a 1992 song? Like,
All right, here's the number one song, 1940, when people hit a home run. It's a home run!
My pretty little pie.
This is what they played. 1942, whenever a New York Yankee hit a home run.
To me, I've heard that song before. It's
Oh my God. Dude, what happened to music, man?
To swing on a star. Harry Moonbeam's
That's Bing Crosby. He used to sing out of his asshole, folks.
gonna set my heart.
Oh, mammy. Oh, mammy.
But I'll go there again. 'Cause I want to believe
The fuck, man?
the gypsy.
dude, I love that fucking song. You want to know why I love that song?
Why?
Because it reminds me of playing a game called Fallout New Vegas. And when you played that game, the history of that game was that there was a nuclear war,
Okay.
and the whole fucking, all of America got wiped out. But it was back in like the 40s and the 50s.
And they play that
So-
song to it?
So on the radio during the game is all the shit from back then. So you had Dean Martin and fucking all that shit. So that just brings me back to playing that fucking game.
What about this? Does this bring you back? This is the most popular songs each year from 1940 to 2016. So from 1940 to 2016, these were all the top songs of the year. That's 1952. Number one song in 1952. $1953's number one song right here. The fuck? Okay, the 50s had a certain sound. Let's fast forward a little bit and let's get into the 60s here.
Couldn't sleep at all last night. Just thinking of you.
I mean, when does music start to sound familiar to us? You know what I mean? What year you think? This is 1961. Let's fast forward a little bit here. Ooh, 1974. Number one song, 1971, sorry. Here's 72. If I saw that ass.
But how is that? Like, you would think that the number one song back then would be like Zeppelin or, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah,
that's what
I know.
this is?
Well, because it was mainstream. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
Here's Paul McCartney, 1973. My Love. Number one song. What the fuck? Never heard this. God, music was bad in 74, huh?
This song says like yakety yak. Don't talk back.
Here's 1975. Captain and Aunt Tennille. They fucked each other. They were brothers and sisters. Hey, Rod Stewart, that cocaine sniffing fuck. 1976, number one song.
Do you think Rod Stewart sucked a cock back
I
in the day?
think so. He looks like it. Back in the 70s, he looked like he would do a cockatoo. Definitely. And I'm not talking birds. 1977, the year I was born, the year you were born. Here's the number one song. Now wait till we get to the 80s. 1978. The
There
Bee
you go, the
Gees.
Bee Gees.
They were good, the Bee Gees. I actually like the Bee Gees a lot.
Dude, I
man.
was just listening to it the other day at work.
They had great music, man. They really did.
I was sucking one of my coworkers' dicks to the Bee Gees.
Here's 1979. You could kind of hear the 80s right here in this a little bit. What it turned into. Next one is 1980. Blondie, who was really the first female rapper of all time. If you really want to get technical, she was the first female white rapper of all time. She was rapping back in the late 70s, man.
I hate to go off topic, because is it peculiar to have one ball twice the size as the other one?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, maybe I have to see a doctor then.
Yeah, that's not good, man. Oh my God, 1982. This was Paul McCartney and Stevie, Where the Fuck Am I? Wonder. 1983, The Police. Number one song. '84, Prince, When Doves Cry. I remember this being like an 8-year-old kid fucking when this came out. You remember this?
Of course I do. It's when the doves cry, kid.
Yeah. Oh my God. 1985, number one song. This is when they all came together for the USA relief for Africa or some shit. Yeah, that's what it was. It was.
Yeah, USA for Africa.
Yeah.
We love to pretend that we give a fuck when we really don't.
1986, they all came together again for this one.
Dude, how many do you hear that song every wedding, every fucking Sweet 16 that you've ever been to?
Oh, here we go in modern times now. 1987, Bon Jovi. Now, when this music was out back then, I hated it, but I love it now, which is the most weirdest fucking thing.
Because nostalgia.
Oh my God.
Oh, wait, hold on. Ready? I'm going to tell you who this is. Steve Winwood.
Yep. Roll with it. Steve Winwood, 1988. '89, Janet Jackson. Crazy, man, how music changes over the years.
I'm surprised that Whitney Houston was in somewhere in here.
These are just number one songs. 1990, Mariah Carey.
Oof, how the fucking grade have fallen, huh? She's a fucking maniac now.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey, Long Islander.
Yep. Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams. That was the fucking Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves soundtrack.
Yep, 1991.
That was right around the time I started fingering broads.
1992, Boys to Men.
Ugh.
Wow, this brings back memories.
Boys to Men, ABC, BBD.
Yeah, now it's not Boys to Men no more. It's Men to Old Men. Oh, Whitney Houston. Soundtrack to Bodyguard, the movie.
Yeah.
1993. For those of you out there who this is the song of the years you were born. It's crazy. 1994. I want to forget this fucking year. Rangers won the Stanley Cup.
And the Knicks lost the NBA Finals.
Knicks lost in the finals, and they came out with this song. Boys to Men again come back with a number one hit. And here's Mariah Carey again, 1995. I remember when this song came out, it was huge.
Still when Mariah Carey was innocent and fuckable until Derek Jeter got a hold of her.
Oh my God, this was number one fucking song 1996. How the fuck?
Another wedding staple.
Yeah. The people gonna 1997, he redid this for Candle in the Wind was redone. It was originally made, that song was originally made for Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
But years later after she died. Then, once Princess Diana died back in, what was that, 98?
Well, that was, let me try and think about that, 98. Yeah, it had to be 98.
He redid the song, and he added Diana in some of the areas of the song, and redid it for Princess Diana, and hence why this song was on there twice, you know?
When the rain set in,
1998. Brandy and Monica, The Boy Is Mine. I felt like this just came out like not too long ago. It's fucking crazy. This was 1998. 1999. Santana and fucking Rob Thomas.
Yeah,
Smooth.
from Matchbox 20.
Yep. 1999.
Wow, that's that long
yeah,
ago?
dude. Yep, that was 18 years ago.
Jesus.
And then here's another year with Santana again.
He had like a renaissance, like a
He
career
did,
renaissance.
man. He fucking did at the late 90s, early 2000s. 2001, Janet Jackson back on the scene again. All for You. She looks hot in this video, too.
This is right around Michael Jackson, No Job, number 7.
Yep. 2002, Ashanti. Foolish. And then here he is, the man himself came
shit.
into the scene. 50 Cent. This is when I got engaged, and this was one of my wedding songs, believe it or not. He came out to this in my wedding.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Was it? No. Did
It was
you
just
come
the-
out to it,
yeah,
or
we
did
ca-
the, or did the wedding.
The
party?
wedding party came out to that, and I came out to this. Me and my wife came out to this. Usher,
To a guy with herpes.
yeah. Usher, the herpes artist. 2005, Mariah jumps back on again for her third time with We Belong Together, 2005.
Yeah, if we belong together so much, clean your feet, you nasty fuck.
Oh my God. To give a heart attack. I'm
This is
bringing
2004?
motherfucking burgers back. This is 06. Number one song in 2006. 2007. This felt like it was yesterday, man. This was 10 years ago. Wow. 10 fucking years ago already.
Wait,
Yep. 2008. Flo
bring
Rida
sexy back.
and T-Pain. 2008. Let's see. It's 2009. 2009. Black Eyed Peas. I got a feeling.
I
Number
got a
one.
feeling that Fergie's got a fucked up face.
Yeah, Butterface now, bro. But 2009, she was slamming. 2010. Oh my God. I remember when this came out. 2010. Kesha. TikTok.
Oh, is this who this is? I don't know.
Yeah.
I know the song, but I don't know who it was.
2011, Rihanna returns with We Found Love. Clavin Harris. Featuring Clavin Harris. 2011. And then here's 2012 coming up right now. I just met you, and this is totally crazy, but I want you to fuck me so I can have you a baby. Oh my God. 2013. Robin Thicke.
And they got sued to shit for this song.
Yeah, they did, man. Sounded a lot like fucking whatchamacallit. 2014, number one song, Happy. Pharrell comes back again. I love Pharrell. 2015, his first time on here. Bruno Mars. Uptown Funk.
My wife loves him.
Now this is last year. Rihanna and Drake. Rihanna's third time on the number one spot. And then of course you got 2017 this year. And he's back again. Bruno Mars.
This is this year?
Yep. Well, this year's not over yet. I mean, there's still a lot more tracks that can come out before
No, but
now
what I'm
and then,
saying
but
is, doesn't it seem like it didn't came out like last year?
it came out in January. I'm pretty sure. It came out in the beginning of the year.
Weird, man. I
Yeah,
feel like that song was
2017.
older.
But that was a cool little ride down fucking,
Memory Lane.
memory lane. Yeah, memory of music. I mean, think about it. You know, you go back to the 40s, music was so fucking different. It was just so different.
What was your first record?
The first record I owned, believe it or not, was Run DMC. Was the original Walk This Way. It was
Okay.
it was the single, and it had a B-side which had the fuck was the name of that track by them? Crushin' or something like that it was called.
Mhm.
That was on the B-side. That was my first record. My first tape was LL Cool J. Fuck the Police. Or no, not Fuck the Police.
Fucked.
It wasn't Fuck the Police. That was NWA. It was I forgot the name of it, but it was LL Cool J basically. What the fuck is the name of that track again, man? No, matter of fact, let's look it up real quick. Let's take a look right now. It was LL Cool J's first #1 album. LL Cool J's first song. What the fuck was the name of it again? I'm Bad. It fucking exactly, man. Exactly. That was the first tape I had. That was the LL Cool J I'm Bad tape cassette. That was the first tape cassette I've ever owned. Was this right here?
Well,
Now
you
LL.
gonna play it?
Yeah, LL was from Queens, New York. And when this came out, this was cutting edge rap right here. This was like cutting edge shit. You want to talk about a prolific rapper? This dude, I mean, he's still in movies and TV shows to this day. Him and Ice-T really. I'll take a sucker down man, put his face in the sand. Not the last mafioso, I'm an MC cow. Make you say go Kenan and do the wow. Cause you think you cannot run me, but yet I can. I ain't met a motherfucker who could do that yet. Trendsetter, I'm better, my rhymes are good. I got a gourmet plate that says I wish you would. Man, you can tell this is old now. Beats hot though, right?
Yeah.
So this was really big for me when I was younger. Another group that was really big for me when I was younger, because I started out listening to hip hop. That was the first thing that I got into as a kid. Was LL Cool J really was the first guy. Then it was, well, really it was Run DMC, LL Cool J at the same time. Then I got into a band named one and only The Fat Boys. Now, I don't know if many of you guys remember. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember the Fat Boys, because some of you out there might not even remember them. So if you don't remember them, go look them up. This was their first song out. These guys were from Queens, New York as well. Really where rap started, okay? A lot of people say it started in the Bronx. No. Rap, hip-hop started in Queens, New York, okay? And I'm old enough to remember when I would go visit my cousins in Queens, every fucking street corner had cardboard box opened up, laying on the floor, and people were breakdancing all over it. I mean, that's what was on the street corners back when I was going to visit my cousins in Queens back then. People would come to the corner of where they lived, the young dudes, and they would fucking sit there and break dance. I mean, you don't do that anymore. You don't see that anymore. You know what I mean? There was camaraderie back then. I know shit wasn't. Let me put it to you this way: if you lived in New York City or you lived in Queens or any part of New York back in the '80s, it was a shit dump. Okay, there was graffiti everywhere. There was hookers everywhere. There was drugs everywhere. There was fucking everything. There was pornographic shit everywhere in the city. Mike, am I right?
Yeah, oh fuck yeah.
It was a dirty fucking area to live. Now it's like Disneyland. You go into New York City now, it's like fucking Mickey Mouse, okay? It's like
you went
Disneyland.
on 42nd Street, there'd be peep shows every fucking 5 feet.
Yeah, and now you don't see that no more. It's Disney. It's Disneyland now. New York City has turned into Disneyland. Now, don't get me wrong. I like it what it is now because it's safe, and I mean, for the most part, you can bring your family there. You don't have to worry about seeing fucking some chick with her tits out for the most part. But back then, it was bad. But for some reason, the whites and the blacks in New York back then were more tight with each other because this thing called hip-hop, man. It would bring everybody together because they were dancing out on street corners. And even the white dudes were getting down doing breakdancing and could fucking dance like a lot of the brothers who started that shit on cardboard boxes would. I mean, you would see shit that you never thought you'd see in your life. Somebody doing the fucking windmill, and breakdancing was cutting edge back then, man. It really was. But yeah, that was another one of my, and you're different because you started out with the whole rock side of everything.
Well, actually, my first two records, because I got two at the same time, was Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, well, I definitely love that one, man.
And the second one's hilarious, is the Footloose soundtrack.
Oh, the Footloose soundtrack? Yeah, Footloose had a great soundtrack to it, man.
Now, my first two cassette tapes were bought for my... it was like my 9th birthday. I don't remember exactly what birthday. I remember I was really young. I was in elementary school, and it was bought for me by the infamous Fucci.
Oh, God.
And it was Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, and it was fucking Garage Days by Metallica.
Oh, Garage Days by Metallica. I was on the opposite pendulum of that. If you listened to hip-hop back then, you went to school with your boys and shit, you had your hip-hop people and you had your metal guys, your fucking Metallica heads.
Right.
And you picked one side or the other. Like, you either were into that or into that. Me, I never liked that music at all back when I was a kid. I would listen to hip-hop strictly. Obviously, when I got a little older, I opened my eyes up to some pretty damn good music like Metallica, and then I got into this whole area where I was listening to strictly 60s and 70s rock, which I think was the golden age of rock and roll. I know Elvis time was great too, and people loved that whole era. The mid-early 80s were great for rock and roll too, but to me, the 70s and 60s epitomized the best of rock and roll, because you had bands like fucking Led Zeppelin, you had Pink Floyd, you had
Black Sabbath.
Yeah. I mean, the list goes on. There was so many.
Beatles.
Yeah, Kiss. There was so many good fucking groups out at that point.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah, that were rocking.
Allman Brothers.
It was such a great era. It really was a great golden era.
You'll never
of rock.
have that again.
No, never. You'll never see that again. Now the rock groups that come out aren't even rock. They have rap in their music. It's not even. It's like one big fucking mixing pot of music now. Rock and roll, especially rock and roll, because there's an influence of hip hop in it. There's an influence of the old rock in there. There's influence of new rock in there. It's just all over the map.
What was your first rock album that you got?
First rock album that I got had to be, man, what was it again? I think it was, I want to say Aerosmith, to be honest.
Aerosmith?
Yeah. I think it was the album that had Living in the elevator, living it up and it's going down.
That's Permanent Vacation.
In the air.
Oh, I could be wrong. It's either Permanent Vacation or Pump. I'm not sure.
I fucking, I loved that album. Was a great album by Aerosmith. Never liked Aerosmith before. Started to get into them because they were very popular in the 80s. And then in the 90s, too, they were. You know what I mean? They were very popular in the 90s.
They turned to fucking vaginas in the 90s.
Yeah, but they had a couple of good hits there. They had a couple of good hits there in the 90s. You know what I mean?
It was Alicia Silverstone shite.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. That kind of fucked up a lot of things, you know?
Right.
But, hey, listen. We just went down a whole memory lane of music. And music
Wait, check this out.
What?
You ready? My first rap album.
Okay.
It's very different. Somebody you probably wouldn't guess.
Really?
It was Public Enemy, Fear of a Black Planet.
Damn.
That was my first fucking rap album.
I remember that, man. That was a good album, though. That was a good album, man.
Dude, Public Enemy was the shit, dude.
Dude, listen, I grew up with Public Enemy, too, man. I love Public Enemy. They were fucking one of my favorites of all time.
Long Island is again.
In the box. Let's open the lid.
But yeah, guys, we just wanted to come on, touch bases with you guys. This stroll down memory lane. Hope you liked it. Hope you had fun here on the Patreon channel. And we'll be back probably Wednesday night before our show, Foul Mouths Live, this Wednesday with more Patreon shit. Some behind the scenes stuff I'm definitely going to be putting up. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, Mr. Filthy Mouth Gamer. And I'll talk to you soon.
See you later, you cunts.
Peace out, cunts, on the G-Spot.